fight fans, you beautiful, wonderful people, welcome to another edition of the MMA Huddle podcast. You're joined by myself and Will. We are here to talk about the upcoming UFC Fight Night. And right now there'll be a difference with my lips being out of sync with the audio because of a technical issue. What I was trying to say was Stephens versus Emmett card. But before we go to that, what I suggest is you all hit that subscribe button down below if you can, please. That would be fantastic. We're starting to get those subscribes up. The more we can get, the more support, the more content we'll keep pushing. Also, if you're on SoundCloud or iTunes, give us a follow on there too, people. And thank you so much so far for the support. Also, give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook if you have access to any of those. Again, just MMA Huddle. And we are going to jump into the breakdown of the fight card. We will go to the bet, Will's bet, and of course we'll finish with the questions. And that's our schedule for today. But before we get to the Stephens and Emmett card, Will, I have to say the fight night in Austin was fantastic. Absolutely rip-roaring entertainment. Start to finish, we had knockouts, submissions, just all-round good violence. Any takes from that card yourself, buddy?
Yeah, it was just a really good, solid fight night card. It was like it started off brilliantly, and it kind of fizzled out. It's once it hits that main card. I mean, I fell asleep during the majority of the card, but I think it finished I think I woke up at like 5:30 and it was still going. That's just a slog, man. That could be, like, with the first 6 fights that they had, if that was in Fight Pass, that card would have been done in no time whatsoever, because they had all that filler in between fights. But the first 6 fights were awesome. I thought there was just a lot of really solid fights from the get-go. And I really liked the main event, even though it never went the way I kind of thought it was. I was back and forward with it all week, to be honest with you. But it was nice to see Cowboy get back on track. He's still a guy that the UFC will push. I think they'll throw him in a main event against Ponzinibbio next, personally. I think they're going down to South America, and I think it's May in Chile. It makes perfect sense to me to send someone born in Argentina to face someone like Cowboy, who you know he's going to fight him. Salty, very salty about the Derek Lewis fight. I bet Tybura. I thought I was on my way to cashing a bet. James Vick fought Trinaldo. Trinaldo's hard guy to face, and he looked decent. I thought he was running a little bit too much, but he did what he had to do to really win the fight. I think he was up a couple of rounds. Probably lost that third one, and then the Davis Peterson fight was just all action. Millender was a beautiful knockout. Sage Northcutt, ropey, very ropey. But overall, it was just a solid fight night card. I always like it. I don't know what it is. Every time the UFC go to Texas, there's always a lot of really good talking points, big finishes. Nate Diaz, just being Nate Diaz. So yeah, I enjoyed it once I kind of caught back up with it this morning.
Yeah, Nate Diaz was. I won't lie, because I didn't watch the fight card live, only because I had work in the morning. It was an impossible task to have that happen. It's not a chance. But yeah, I woke up I just went on my phone, went onto Twitter. I thought I'll have a quick look at the result. I like to see the video highlights, that people put the highlights on. And all I saw, I just kept scrolling. It was just Nate Diaz. I couldn't get rid of him. I couldn't get rid of the guy. I was like, oh my gosh. And that was just a great way to start it. I thought, right, okay, that's one way to look at it, the Nate Diaz incident. But thankfully, a lot of the performances, though, did shine. And yeah, I think some kind of holes in fighters' games was realising some of them fights which, they weren't big fights and they weren't title contentions, all that stuff. So they've got time to go home, sort them out and come back hopefully stronger. But yeah, I have absolutely thoroughly enjoyed that card. Going on now, though, to a fight card which in itself has got some fantastic, potentially should be thrilling matchups. We always say it, but sometimes they don't happen. But I'm fingers crossed this card performs, because I think this should be a good one. Seems they've put a couple of dud Fox cards on recently, hasn't there? But they've but they've put. I think they've got a good.
It's weird. It's a weird thing, because I think they've got that. I'm not sure whether the deal runs out this year, and they're kind of watering them down a little bit.
Yeah,
because
it's weird to think why would you do that?
they're not going to renegotiate with Fox, so they're just going to keep the big fights for the pay-per-views. Which, to be fair, that's the way it really should be, because
Yes.
if you're paying $60-$70 for that pay-per-view, then you want the biggest fights. Now, if you're taking one from Fox and putting it on there, I think it makes sense. And if they're not going to re-sign with Fox, then what's the point in putting some of your big fights on there? But it's still pretty solid, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it's a solid card. And starting at the bottom of the card and working our way up, we're going to kick off with a man who's making his debut in Manny Bermudez, who is a very, very good potential prospect to join into the UFC ranks. He's taking on Albert Morales, who I think is an ideal kind of matchup for him. You know, Albert Morales, he's had highs, he's had lows in the UFC, but he's a tough guy. He's not someone who gets easily put away. I think Albert Morales is someone who, you know, he will keep pushing you for 3 whole rounds. It's a good test for Manny Bermudez to come in, especially with Bermudez having such an exceedingly long win streak in 11 fights. You know, it's not a padded record as well. You know, Manny Bermudez is a guy who's a legit guy. He's a legit regional fighter, earned his stripes, did what he had to do to get to the UFC, and his fighting style, I think this is what could maybe, I think this might incorporate Morales into the kind of fight that he wants. Morales wants to just stand and swing and go all out, and I think Bermudez side of things. So I think Morales wants to.
I like Manny Bermudez. I've been a fan of this kid for a couple of years now. I hear about guys and then kind of keep tabs on them, and especially the area he's from, like the Boston, New Hampshire, New England kind of area. So he fights on like CES and just the local scene, and I really like him in this matchup. I think I said last time out with Albert Morales, I think he was in the UFC too early. I still think he's I think he's still got some green tendencies. But the guy doesn't lose to bad fighters. I mean, he's fighting really good guys. I mean, your Almeidas, your Brett Jones, your Sukumtat, they're all solid fighters. So I just think it's maybe a little bit too early. I think that this is a fight that he needs to perform really, really well, I think, to win here. And he needs to establish himself on the feet and not get taken down. I think if it goes to ground, he could catch himself on the wrong side of a choke. And Bermudez is a guy that once he gets you down there, he works for his chokes really, really well, and usually finds something. But he has taken probably another step up in opponents here. I just like Bermudez. I really like what I see out of him. And honestly, I think the best thing for Morales, I think he's still quite a young guy. Put him back out there in the regionals, whip off 5, 6, 7, 8 wins, gain that confidence. And the UFC, I'd be surprised if they never had give this guy another shot in the UFC. So I like Manny Bermudez via sub. I think late 2, maybe early round number 3. But he has finished a lot of fights in the first round. So if you push this guy maybe into later rounds, you might break him.
You might break him, yeah. We're going to find out, especially that adrenaline dump. You know, the UFC debut, octagon jitters might kick in. That second round kind of adrenaline dump hits him. You never know, bro. That's what I love about this MMA game. We've got a matchup now. Alex Perez against Eric Shelton. A fantastic flyweight bout, bro. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, this is a really... I mean, if you haven't got UFC Fight Pass, which I'll be very surprised if a lot of you haven't got it, there's 5 fights on here and they're all pretty solid, which is really nice, I think, for Fight Pass to have, because they're going to fly through the fights usually quite quick.
It's quite considering usually only have 2. At the moment, it seems you only have 2 usually. 2 or 3. Yeah, it's very rare you have this many.
So, yeah, I another guy that I've heard about for a while, he got his opportunity in the Dana White show, came in, did the business in the first round, got a submission. Then he absolutely tooled Carl John D. Thomas in his official UFC debut. And I think he came in injured in that fight as well. So he's back up to full health. He's back at the weight division he wants to fight at. Back down at the weight division he wants to fight at, I should say. Back down at flyweight, and he's against Eric Shelton, who I think is a pretty solid fighter. But I think he fights close, and I think that Alex Perez is a game that can. I think the fight he wins close fights, or he easily, if fights are close, he will steal rounds. That's what I'm kind of trying to say. I like all aspects of his game. I think he's got a lot to work on. I think he's a team alpha male guy. He is a team alpha male guy. No, he's not. Team Oyama. Oh, that's threw me off a little bit. I like Team Oyama as well a lot. but I just think he can mix it up a little bit. I think Shelton's probably better on the feet, but I think the control in the clinch, control against the cage, and I think he can get takedowns through that. He will win a very close 29-28. Eric Shelton's in very close fights. He always is. And either way, it's gonna. I think if it goes to decision, it might be one of those very close splits. That's where I'm going. Alex Perez. Liked what I've seen him in his UFC debut, but another step up against a decent guy here. I like Perez a little bit more.
Yeah, I like Eric Shelton as well. As a fighter, I think he's come into the flyweight division, and I've got to be honest, he's done good. He has done good. He's not. I feel harsh for him because he had some tough fights to come in with. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it's nice seeing Eric that's a bit more free in this fight. We might seem a bit more confident. We don't know yet. That's what I'm curious about. I want to see maybe that did help him release like a bit more potential on the ground. He will find something to get hold of, and I think that Shelton has to be very wary of it, and he has to keep that fight in the middle of the ring. Just keep it in the middle, keep those hands popping, nice straight shots. If he wants to keep Perez off him and keep the fight standing, the smaller cage usually means more normally. So I'm gonna go down here with a Perez decision. I'm with you. I don't see the rounds being huge unless Perez can get him down early and keep him down. But I still think Shelton can get himself back up. So I don't see it being a tight fight. I'll probably give it to Perez because I do think he's got a bit more in him than Shelton. Next up, bro, Russell Doan against Rani Yahya. Now, this is a fight that I'm not overly excited about, but it's a weird one because I feel like Russell's still in the UFC. He's such a weird fighter to be in the UFC still. I'm like, dude, I just don't see anything out of him that's exciting me. But Rani Yahya is, again, very accomplished grappler. Do not get me wrong on that. But he has got zero conditioning. I'm surprised if Yahya makes it 5 minutes. Never mind 3 rounds. I don't understand. I don't know how this dude can't do it. If he can't tap you in the first, it's like he's out. He's like, nah, I'm all right. I'm not doing this anymore. And Russell's no slouch. He's been around, so I'm gonna go with Russell because Ronnie's coming out of Brazil as well. He's having to travel up to America, which to a lot of people might seem a lot, but it does make a difference for Rani Yahya. At home, he's got a bit more about him in Brazil, but when he comes out of his home country, so to speak, I think Russell Doan can get a points victory here. I'm gonna go points victory. Go on.
I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think Russell Doan is a live fighter in this fight. I really do. I think, like you say, Yahya has very bad conditioning, very bad cardio. But what he does have is he has really elite grappling. Yeah. And if he gets you to the ground, it's hard to really buck this guy off you and kind of get him in bad positions. He just doesn't give those positions up. So for me, it's Russell needs to kind of establish himself on the feet early and try and he needs to keep his back off the cage. If he can keep it in the centre, Ronnie's going to be shooting takedowns, and then he can sprawl it and he can get back to his feet. It's one of these fights. If he keeps it standing, I think Russell wins. If it goes to the ground, I think that Yahya will control at least 2 of those rounds. But the thing is, he just gasses that hard that even if he gets you to the ground, you have opportunities to get back to your feet once that conditioning goes. But I think I'm with you in this one. I like Yahya as a fighter personally when he's not gassed, but he's gassed all the time. I think Russell Doan is a sneaky play in this card. I think he will be the big underdog in this card. Might not be the way in the world if you've got a couple of pennies kicking around, but I'm going to go Russell Doan via decision as well.
It's a nice one to pick, honestly. I think it's going to be an interesting one of the bouts that I think goes under the radar, but I think from a technical standpoint, it's one to keep an eye on for people. Next up is a new signing as well, another new face on the scene of the UFC. So you've got Sam Alvey coming up to the light heavyweight, stepping in and facing Marcin Prachnio. Or Prachnio, however you wish to pronounce it. Well, I'm not Polish or Eastern European, so I'm going to say Prachnio. Prachnio, it's good to have fresh face, fresh blood. The guy can fight at middleweight and light heavyweight, bro, but he's stepping up at the light heavyweight to face Sam Alvey, who can sometimes turn fights ugly. How do you see this fight going, though?
Yeah, like Sam Alvey, he doesn't do anything.
No.
He literally he sits there with that stupid look in his face, with that stupid like smirk or whatever.
It's that, isn't it?
And it's just
he's like,
fucking just do something, you big ginger twat. That's all I'm thinking every time. Which is kind of fucking bad, but it's still. I went back and watched a couple of his fights this afternoon, and literally I got 7 or 8 minutes in. I was I'm moving on to this other guy. I'm going to pick Pragnio just for the simple fact. The thing with this fight as well, Sam Alvey's not going to have to cut near as much weight as he has to, because he usually fights at middleweight. He's going to be at 205. I think he's probably going to be the bigger guy, but he just doesn't throw enough for me.
No.
He really doesn't throw enough kind of stuff to win the fights. I think he's been lucky in a few of his fights. Pragnio's a guy that's a similar size, not got nowhere near the same experience what Alvey has, but he's fought on a decent stage. He fought majority of his fights over there in one championship, which is a great organisation out of Asia, and he's won fights. He's devastating in the clinch. He's got some big power. He's got some big ground and pound. As much as I shit on Sam Alvey here, he's still a tough guy to face, because one shot and he can put you on your arse and you could be out. But there's so much inactivity in his fights that if you just do a little bit, you're going to win rounds. So I'm going to go Pragnio. I don't think he stops him. I think he wins a sloppy decision though.
Yeah, it's a horrible one to pick, because Sam Alvey turns fights on its head. Like you could, as much as you think something's going to happen, he can. Because Sam Alvey's got very good wrestling. Like, people obviously don't see it, but I always say to people, how often do you see Sam Alvey go on his ass? It's very rare. How often do you see Sam Alvey get taken down and then get back up? Quite often, because it's hard to keep Sam Alvey down, because he's very good at wrestling. That's why not a lot of people shoot on him, because he's got a good wrestling defense from his history with Dan Henderson. All those. If you're training with Dan Henderson for years and years, you're going to have goddamn good wrestling technique and a good defense. So straight away, it takes away a potential of Marston's arsenal, which is, like you say, that heavy top ground and pound. If he can't get Sam down, so he has to rely on the standing. Now, if he's going to stay standing up, he has to stay out the way of Sam Alvey's counter strikes, because that's all Sam Alvey does. He just counters, but he's a good counter striker. Like, I know he's not active, and you and I both know he's not an active guy. But when he does counter, his numbers are low. But I reckon his accuracy is just be active. You know. He'll have to have some new fresh blood in there. If he is stick, I reckon he'll probably go down middleweight, because he'll probably realise that light heavyweight's too big for him. But it's nice to see new fresh blood in there. Now, Will, the main event for the Fight Pass prelims is a great one. Super pumped for this. You got Gilbert Burns against OAM. Okay, Olivier Aubin-Mercier. Okay, I love this matchup. All right. Now, my only worry is one aspect of this. There's one guy he's slowly getting shown far more variety.
I was kind of one of the people when Gilbert Burns came into UFC. I thought he was going to do a lot better than what he's kind of shown. And he's only lost to decent fighters. I mean, Cazares and Rashid Magomedov they're decent fighters, so they're not bad fighters he's losing to.
No.
I think he's another guy that has lulls in fights where he looks tired, he looks gassy, but then he can pull out results like he did in the Cowboy Oliveira fight out of nowhere. Once you go to the ground with this guy, you're in deep shit, and you cannot give him any opportunity to grab anything, because if he does, he will take it home. I think Aubin-Mercier is. I like the progression that he's making personally. I think that he's got vicious kicks, like body kicks, leg kicks. He establishes his jab really well. That typical tri-star fighter. He's like, you can see what Faraz Zahabi's did with him. And those guys are hard to beat, and they improve every fight through that. So as long as he doesn't get sloppy and get taken to the ground, I see him outstriking and outpointing Gilbert Burns, but Burns I think has a little bit more power, but I think his technique's not that good. I know he's been with Henry Hoof for a long time. I like Gilbert Burns, but I just don't think he's overly that good. And I think that Olivier Aubin-Mercier has more to his kind of tool belt than what Gilbert Burns has. Gilbert Burns is a serviceable striker with an unbelievable ground game if you give him the opportunity. I don't think OAM will give him the opportunity to get it down there. So if that's the case, I'm going to pick Olivier Aubin-Mercier.
And in the prelims, the first fight kicking things off is both guys who could kind of do with the getting the wins and getting themselves sorted again in the welterweight division. The beautiful Alan Jouban against Ben Saunders. I love the matchup because they're both stylistically similar in the standing, you know, kind of traditional kind of kickboxing, Muay Thai kind of thing. But when it goes to the ground, obviously the levels change, and Ben Saunders brings out that 10th planet ninja jiu-jitsu that he has. But I think standing wise, bro, I think this is a good style up matchup. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, it's like I don't trust Alan Jouban at all because his chin is.
He's a good looking man. He's good looking.
Yeah, he is chinny. He's very, very chinny. But let's be honest, Ben Saunders, does he have anything that's... The only thing I can see him catching him, Jouban with, is maybe knees in the clinch. If he brings a knee straight up the middle. Striking wise, Ben Saunders has never been a proficient striker. He's never been good. Dangerous on the ground, very dangerous, very long, very languid. Comes from that 10th planet jiu-jitsu where they're always extremely dangerous. I think if Alan Jouban takes like a similar fight to like he did against Mike Perry, where he catches, where he kind of works him from the outside, picks and pops and runs, because he can't take a shot that well.
No.
Now Ben Saunders, like I said, hasn't got much on the feet, but if he gets into a clinch and he throws one of those knees or an elbow up the middle, or he could catch Jouban. So I think Jouban should win fairly easily. But it's just he's like, I was looking at bets for this card and I thought Jouban, but then I thought I can't trust that guy. One shot and he could be doing the chicken dance and that could be him. So I'll be passing on that as a bet, but I think Jouban will win a decision. I think maybe even a late stoppage in round number 3.
I would agree with you, but both of them have taken a bit of time off, so like they haven't fought for a while. I think what's that? So February now. It's been, good like 5, 6, 7 months since both of them have had fights. So they both knew they need to give their bodies a break, which I think that's smart. I think that's smart, intelligent fighting. A lot of guys, like you say, you see guys who fight and they want to get back in there, and you're like, no. You need to take that break. Alan Jouban, I think Ben Saunders, hopefully they've refreshed their body and taken that break off. And I'm hoping then it'll benefit Alan Jouban as well, because like you said, that chin, give it a break, get your conditioning up, land the kicks that catch people out. And next up, though, was a fight which placed and Angela Hill is a harder fight. You're going to get another fight. I wouldn't mind someone of a similar level to who you were meant to match up with me earlier on. But either way, she's back on against Angela Hill, who, like we said, Angela Hill is not the biggest 115er. She was actually going to think about going down to 105 when she was in Invicta and fight on Invicta for the 105 title. So it's a fight that I think Moraes can win, but this is only a 3-round fight. You've got to, with Angela Hill, keep her close, because Angela Hill likes to just come in, tap, 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 and off she goes. Tap, tap, out, tap, tap, out, tap, tap, out. Moraes is slow with her movement. She likes to just close you down slowly, just kind of get up to you. And Angela Hill's very active, and that's the only what favors Angela Hill in fights is her activity. She has such a high output, and that girl can take a hit. Like, let's be honest, like she fought, was it Jessica Andrade, and I think I bought a gravestone for her, but she shocked me with that toughness. On the ground, I think Angela Hill's in a bit of trouble, but I just don't know if it'll get to the ground. I think that's the problem. I think Angela Hill might get a decision win here.
I'm a little. It's funny. I could take a coin from my
Yeah,
wallet and flip it, and I probably 10 times that I still could gain no confidence. The one thing that I see in this fight is that Angela Hill throws more, which
yeah,
I think can look good in the judge's eyes. Morose sits back and throws. She's long, so she throws
yeah.
those long jabs out, but she doesn't shoot for takedowns. She doesn't initiate clinch battles, and that's going to help someone like Angela Hill staying outside, just hit her with leg kicks and try and keep at distance. But then when coming in close, try and flurry Morose and try and hurt her through there. I have no confidence in picking this fight whatsoever. But the one thing that keeps when I keep watching a little bit of Angela Hill, she does throw more, and I think that could be pivotal in the judges' eyes. But honestly, I have no clue with this fight. Morose could go out there and just use that jab and box her up from a distance.
Yeah.
I don't really see it because she doesn't really throw that much. Where Angela Hill could go out there and just outpoint her. So I'm going to go with the girl who I think is more active and will work a bit harder to win the fight, and that's Angela Hill for me.
Another fight coming up with the ladies, and it's another exciting fight, man. Sarah McMahon against Mariah Reneau. Man, I like this fight. I think it's going to be a very, very good battle. How do you see it going down?
Yeah, this was one that I wasn't giving too much attention to, and then I started just watching some fights, and then I just started. You start to see things in a fighter that when they haven't got the upper hand, they fold, and they fold big time. Sarah McMahon's a girl. I had a lot of high hopes for her, but she is not. Once you get her in a bad position and she can't establish a top game or she can't hurt you, she just looks for the door and she shits the bed big time. Caitlin Vera fight, she comes out and she starts well. She takes down Vera's one of those young girls coming through that you still don't know an awful lot about her. And she's got a matchup with Kat Zingano coming through, which is a really
Ooh,
good
hell of a
fight.
fight.
So, but she comes out there, she starts off really well. Like, she shouldn't be getting taken down because she's an Olympic medalist.
Yeah.
But she got taken down. I've got the video on my phone where the camera literally zooms in on her face and she does not know what to do. And then she gets taken, she gets put in a submission, and she just straight away she knows that right, this is over. And she taps and she looks for a way out. And I mean, she's faced like Jessica. We know what run she's on. Gina Mazzani, she's not good. Alexis Davis, that was her first fight after having a kid. So I think Marion Renault is very live in this fight. Now, she's a when you watch her last fight, she's going to get taken down in this fight. There's no doubt about it. Talita Bernardo taking her down, and she came in there on short notice. Seeing more of Bernardo now, that's her game. She's a power grappler. She wants to get to the ground. But Reneo, she sweeped her. She got in top position. She found submissions, and we've seen that in different fights. Judy Ava did the same thing. Dashley Evans Smith fight, it happened that as well, and the Jessica Andrade fight as well. She's got legit submission skills. I think the first round's going to be very. I think that'll be a McMahon round. I think she'll establish dominance, but eventually I think that Mari Reneo is going to establish herself in the fight, and eventually she's going to find herself in position where she's going to start hurting Sarah McMahon, and she's going to potentially get the finish. Now that fight with Bernardo, it was literally 5 seconds before the end of the fight, and she was throwing to stop that fight. And the Miliana Dudieva fight, third round, was throwing, kept going, won that fight. So the girl, like, I think she's in her early 40s. She keeps on going. She doesn't quit. I think that Sarah McMahon quits. And I think if we get into the third round and this fight's close and Marion establishes a dominant position, Sarah McMahon's just going to lay there and just wait it out until the fight gets stopped or it's the end of the fight. So, and she's a big underdog. It was one of the things that I noticed. I watched the fight first, went and had a look, see if I had odds. Surprised we actually had odds. And I seen Marion Reneau at nearly a 2-1 underdog. I was like, okay then, that's in my opinion, that line is off, and it's something that during this fight week coming up I will look at very, very closely. for betting opportunities. But I think Marion Reneau can stop her. I think she can win a decision. I think she can break Sarah McMahon, because we've seen Sarah McMahon breaks. So I'm going to go Marion I'm going to go a decision. But I think it's going to be one of these close 29-28 if it does go to decision.
It's a heck of a fight. I'm just curious to see how McMahon has developed with Team Alpha Male.
Yeah.
I think it's probably more the striking side of things that they've probably worked, like it's evolved for her. Like the only thing she needed to do was learn how to get off her back. Because obviously she's from wrestling. And in wrestling, if you're on your back, if your shoulders are pinned, you're dead. That's it. It's over. But for some reason, she just stops in an like was it the Misha Tate fight? Was it where she got pinned by Misha Tate? I think it was. And she just didn't do anything to get up. And that was, like you said, that was my light bulb moment. I went, that girl, she should know how to do that. If you're an Olympic medalist in wrestling, you know how to take people down. Focus on how to get yourself back up. You've already nailed that bit. You can come and brush up on it, but you don't need to drill it like everyone else does. You need to brush up on the bit to get you up. Now, Reneau is a girl who clearly just works on her jits, like just works on her sweeps, her reversals, because she probably knows I've not got level 1, like D1 defense wrestling. Cool, right? Well, you can take me down. I don't mind that. I'm going to sweep you because I'm going to have a load of options to sweep you, or I'm going to have a load of threats from my back with submissions. And that's the worst thing you can have. Is if someone's happy to let you go down to the ground, it's because they're deadly on their back, like Ortega. Like, that dude's like, you take me down, I'm going to fuck you up on the ground. And that's Nate Diaz. Take me down. Get my guard. I dare you. You know, that's what Reneau is. And I think that actually might put Sarah McMahon off. I think in the first round, she might take her down, and that might put her off. The offense that Reneau will offer, I'll go for that takedown in the future. And I do see her just mentally kind of breaking that first round from something like that. And going forward, Reneau, just like you say, I think she could possibly finish it. Even with a submission, McMahon might go in for a half-hearted effort on a takedown or something, get caught with a guillotine or something like that. Would not shock me at all. I'm going to go for Reneau, even though she's the underdog. Definitely going with that one. Next up for the main event for the prelim card, my man, is a guy who's had one hell of a decline. Yeah. Renaud Barao, the man who was the king of the 135 division. Barao is fighting Brian Keller. Man, this is a crazy one. This is 145, not 135, because Barao can't. Is it 135?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
I thought he would have done 140 maybe, but it's 135. My mistake. Well, firstly, if Barao
I thought it was 145 as well, actually.
Yeah, I thought.
And then I seen it and it's 135. It's showing up, so he's going to have to make that weight cut.
I was about to say, if Barao can make 135, which is the first bit, right? I think I think Barao will lose then. If he goes to 135 and makes the weight, I think see it nowadays. He's a broken man. At 145, I think he'd be fantastic. And I don't know what his problem...
Weight in 3 years. Nearly 3 years. From July, last time he made the bantamweight limit was against his second fight against TJ Dillashaw. That's crazy. That was 2015.
That's disgusting.
So, and like his 2 wins since 2014 are Mitch Gagnon and Felipe Nova. So he's losing, to be fair, Dillashaw, Stevens, Sterling, decent, but his only wins are Felipe Nova and Mitch Gagnon. Two guys like Gagnon.
He was a killer at 135, let's be honest. Like, Barao was the man
before
who
USADA.
Face. He was a monster.
Before USADA. I think that's a big thing in this year. I think he is a shell of himself. He's one of those fighters that USADA has pretty much changed his career.
How dare you, USADA?
Yeah. He looks a shell of himself, and like he went to 145 against Jeremy Stevens. Now that's a tough fight because Jeremy, you know, he's an in-your-face fighter that is hard to put away. The guy cracks, he hits really hard. Then he stuck around and faced Felipe Nova, and then I heard he was facing Aljo. That was a catchweight fight. So the guy doesn't know where to fight. He doesn't know where to fight. 135, 145. So he's in Lambeau from there. Kelleher, I don't think he's overly that good,
No.
but I don't think this is a matchup out of his realm that he can lose. I think he can win the fight. I think that sometimes he shits the bed a little bit. He did in the regionals, but he also won fights against good guys as well. So it's all about how Barrow starts. If Barrow starts really well, confidently, I see him potentially keeping that through the fight. If he doesn't, and Keller has opportunities on the feet and just makes it competitive, I think he could potentially win the decision. I've seen people on social media betting heavy money on Henan Barrow, and I have no idea how you can do that in 2018. That's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy, especially when you look at barely made weight, flip flopping between divisions,
Yeah.
people that he's fought and the people that he's beaten the last few years. It's a tough pick for me here. I'm going to pick Brian Kelleher just for the fact that I don't want to pick Henan Barrow because he is the better fighter. But is he still the same fighter that he was back then? I don't think he is. So I'm going to go Brian Kelleher via a sloppy, smelly decision.
No, I'm with you on that one. Let's go with next up on the main card kicking off. We're going to have a barn burner, which I don't think will last too long. Max Griffin taking on Mike Perry. Let's see how you think this fight's going to go down, bro.
Mike Perry, he's one of the biggest power hitters I think we have in the sport personally, and he's one of the funnest fighters that you could that you can definitely watch in the UFC. And there's many good fights you could put this guy in. He had that fight with Ponzinibbio. It was close. Ponzinibbio he's a tough guy to face because he's a little bit dirty, and sometimes his fights are like. I mean, Mike Perry got poked in the eye twice there. Gunnar Nelson got poked in the eyes repeatedly in Glasgow. So he's a dirty fighter, but he knows how to do it professionally without getting caught or without getting seen. And that kind of takes its toll the longer it goes into the fight. Mike Perry, this is his hometown, so he is going to be absolutely bouncing off every wall in that arena, and he's going to be ready. You know, he's going to come there and he's going to want to throw down. Max Griffin, if you've watched a bit of this guy, even in his last fight against Alessio Dos Santos, the guy can take a lick, the guy can take a hit, and he can throw a little bit as well. So when you look at it like that, it's going to be a firefight between these two, and it's going to be on the feet. And once you start throwing leather on the feet, all it takes is one shot from Max Griffin, and he could put Mike Perry down. Now, saying that, do I see him hitting Mike Perry with that shot and put him down? I don't think he will. But if it's an all-out war between these two, then Mike Perry could get caught, and that's something that he has to really keep an eye on. Max Griffin, this is the first time he's actually did a camp full time without working any other job. So he's put all his eggs into this one fight and trying to come out here. And if he beat Mike Perry, that's a huge skill for a guy that's a popular fan favourite as well. Like him against Cowboy would be a great fight. There's so many good fights you could put that guy in that division. Him against Curtis Millender, who won last night, that'd be a great fight. I started off not liking Mike Perry. I didn't like him too much in Manchester when he beat Danny Roberts, because Danny is my boy. But it was a great fight. But the more, like, when we were in Manchester, I was around him in the hotel and I was like, I really don't want to like you. But he was talking and he was quite funny, and I thought, you're actually pretty cool. But I've grown to like Mike Perry. I like his fighting style. The guy just wants to put on good fights for the fans. So I'm going to pick Mike Perry. I'm going to pick him via second round TKO. But I think he could get here if he starts swinging leather. Because once you start doing that, you're just open to being taken out yourself.
Well, I'd like Mike Perry to use his head movement from boxing that he's got. He has got it, but he too often he bites down and just goes for the rock 'em sock 'em. Head stays still, doesn't move because he relies on his hands to land. I'd like him to use his head movement a bit more that he does have, and he does use it in other fights. He does use it in fights. Don't get me wrong, especially in this one after his last fight. I'd like to see him use his head movement a bit more, just to set Max up for the strikes. Because Mike's got the power. He just needs to set them up, and I think with a fight like this, he probably will. when he got a guy who he'll know that Max can take a fight, he can take it on the chin, he can take a good hit, so he'll know he might have to set this up a bit better rather than just go all out. And I'm hoping we see a Mike Perry, because I think Max, because he can take a hit, he might want to get the clinch in, might want to try and get it down, just to basically stop Mike Perry. Like, if I'm fighting Mike Perry, my game plan's one plan and one only: get him down, get him on his ass. You know what I mean? I'm going to, like, bait him in, shoot down, double leg, get him out of there. And that's what you might see that happen in this fight. You might see Max bait Mike Perry in. So, like, Mike will close the ring off, get him against the cage, make it look like Max has nowhere to go, and might start to, as he goes to unload on Max, Max ducks down, changes level, shoots in, gets him down. That could very well happen in this fight, and I would not be shocked if it does. But I do see Mike Perry getting the win, only because, like you say, mate, pound for pound, he's easy top 3 of hard hitters. Like, when he hits people, it changes their game. Like, their game plan goes out the fucking window, and this new game plan of, oh my gosh, I need to survive, comes in, and it just throws you off. And I think that's what will happen here. I think you'll land at least one good crack, and Max's game plan will just go out the window. Unless Max can land that first takedown and get that confidence in. So yeah, I'm probably going to Mike with a finish. Like you say, first, second round. Yeah, I can see that, first, second round. Whoever lived, who rides a horse on the beach, Latifi, topless as well, because why would you not? Because he's a savage, against OSP. Man, this fight here, but one thing I don't like about OSP is his inconsistency. He's got a bit of consistency at the moment for a couple of, I think it's like a 3-fight win streak he's got on. I know he beat Okami, who maybe gave him the head and arm of the Von Flue choke, maybe gave that choke to him to get out of there without being harmed. You type away, Mike. Will, sorry. You type away, Will. Well, you type away. Sorry, we can't hear you now, can we? Fucking hell.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fucking typewriter. Yeah, man. OSP, powerful dude, variable strikes. Like, that's the thing about OSP. Wonderful array of strikes. Catches you out with odd kind of submissions that aren't used that often. Like I say, the Von Flue choke, which I love to use in training myself. But you find a guy in Latifi who, that dude can hit hard. He can take a rocket at you. Like, Latifi will throw everything in a 3-round fight. OSP has got, with all that muscle, that 3rd round, Latifi's not that good. Do you know, he's not as in, he's not going to hit you and knock you out power. He has to let that build up. Like, you have to know if he can. That's the only question. I think Latifi, I'm going to go Latifi.
It's what OSP's going to show up.
Yeah.
If the OSP before the Manowar fight kind of shows up, then he can be like really good. I saw him against John Jones, where he never did much in that fight, but he still stuck around with the best guy that has been in that division. So Latifi's tough. Latifi's going to look for takedowns and try and just kind of establish himself on top, which he does. He's a hard guy to take down himself. So I'm kind of struggling a little bit. It's all depending on what OSP shows up for me. I think Latifi's going to show up, but always does that. He's like a little fire hydrant. He's a hard guy to take out, hits very hard, gets takedowns, like he did against Tyson Pedro, who was the bigger guy there. Every guy against Latifi is a bigger guy. So I think I'm going to go Latifi. I think if OSP comes out really quick, he can win. But I think Latifi's going to get takedowns. But he has to be careful with OSP, because he is dangerous on the ground with those big, long arms and legs, and he can find submissions. But I think it's going to be another close decision. But I'm going to go Latifi. I'm a little surprised that I'm actually seeing him as underdog as well. But I like Ila Latifi to win here.
Oh, wait there. 1 out of 2. Oh, here we go. Video stream's back up. I don't know what happened there. It doesn't matter. We'll keep going. All right. So, yeah, Latifi. Okay. So next up, we have co-main event. She is an absolute savage. Jessica Andrade against Tisha Torres. Man, this is a stonkingly crazy fight. How do you see this going?
I like Tisha Torres a lot as a fighter. I don't think I've never gotten any of her fights wrong. I think she's a money train for me to one of these people that I bet on and won a lot of money off of, including her losing to what's her name, Rose Namajunas as well, which I actually thought she won that fight personally. I thought she should have got the nod in that one, but she got her first finish against Juliana Lima. She beat Michelle Watterson very convincingly, I thought. But then she's got someone against Jessica Andrade here who she absolutely brutalised Claudia Gadelha last time out. I mean, you don't really see that in the women's division all that much, but she absolutely beat the living piss out of her, really, really badly. But can she do that 2 times in a row? Tisha Torres is a hard fighter to face as well because she's tiny, she's very, very small, but she fights quite long with the kicks to keep you away. She's a good grappler herself. A lot of people are really high on Jessica Andrade here. I'm not. I think this is going to be really, really close. I think if she hurts Torres early, it's happened in the Gadelha fight. But I think Torres is so savvy in there that she will fight to a game plan and she'll fight very well. She came from American Top Team. She's moved over there, obviously, to Colorado, but she'll still have that strong game plan that she always had at American Top Team that I think won her a lot of fights very easily, honestly. Like that Hill fight, she didn't want to strike with her, so she put her down and just laid on her. And then Jocelyn Jones-Lyberger, she just beat up. Rose Namajunas, obviously, I thought she won. Beck Rollins, she beat convincingly. Juliana Lima convincingly. And Michelle Watterson. But it's hard to look past that last winner, Jessica Andrade. She's probably one of, I think, there's Rose, there's Joanna, there's Tisha, and there's Jessica. Top 4 in the division, I think. Carolina's number 5, I would say, in amongst that. I want to pick Tisha Torres, but it's hard. Really hard. I'm going to go Jessica Andrade for a decision, but I would actually like Tisha Torres to win the fight.
Yeah, so they can have the rematch with Rose. If you're the UFC, that's possibly what you'd like to look to happen. It's hard. It is hard because people need to understand that Tisha Torres she isn't sitting there making headlines with some of her performances. She's just so fundamentally sound. She just knows how to win. But like you said, Jessica Andrade, I get the feeling if she gets hold of Tisha Torres, do you remember the scene from Avengers and Hulk and Loki?
Yeah.
I have that image with this, and I mean like the fact that I think Jessica, because it's a smaller cage, if she gets her hands on Tisha, she'll just ragdoll her. Like, I think there's going to be a huge discrepancy in strength. Like, you saw Jessica just literally woman handle. I'm sorry to say man handle, but literally just handle Claudia Gadelha, who is a legit grappler, which means she's got very good strength. We've seen how good Claudia Gadelha is in the grappling, getting people down, how strong she is. And Jessica was like, get off. Tisha needs to keep her away. Like, it's the best way to describe it. Jessica's going to walk forward all the time. Tisha needs to try and do the leg kicks to slow her down. But we've seen that Jessica can attack forward for 5 rounds against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. And this is where I worry that Tisha can't run back for 3 whole rounds. It's exhausting. And I think this is where Jessica that pressure might stop Tisha. So I'm going to go with Jessica on a decision. And I feel like it's just going to be it's going to be hard work because Jessica just comes throwing everything all the time for 3 rounds. I don't know if Tisha can back up enough the whole time to avoid it. But I'm not saying she can't win. She can throw a kick out there and knock the lights out of her. Next up is the main event. Jeremy Stephens, Josh Emmett. It's meant to be a featherweight fight, but we don't know if Josh is going to make the weight this time. He should do. He should know the score now. He came in, somehow got ranked number 4 because he beat Ricardo Lamas, even though he didn't make weight. Ricardo Lamas has been stopped before. He's a very good guy, a very good fighter. He got that win against Jason Knight. Was on a good kind of brought himself back into it again. But with Jeremy Stephens, we know what Jeremy Stephens is. Jeremy Stephens can take a hit, very well conditioned, can keep going. He's a former 155er, just like Josh Emmett. So you got 2 guys who have went up then down. So it's not like Josh is going to have this huge size advantage. Josh he's done well in his performances coming into UFC. I think, didn't he on his debut rip his thumb or something, or break his thumb or like finger? I can't recall which one it was now, but so we know he's got a will to win. He doesn't, he's got that mental strength to just put that pain aside, the adrenaline, etc., and carry on and get the win. I don't think he'll fight the same fight he did against Ricardo Lamas. I know it didn't last long, but I think you might see more of a grappling. I think Josh might try to get the takedown a bit more with Jeremy Stephens, because Jeremy Stephens is a guy that will stand and bang with you. And to be honest, you don't want to waste that. You don't want to take that risk. Odd. It sucks. It's so tiring. Josh Emmett doesn't want a 5-round war like that, because I don't know how his last fight, he didn't make the weight. I don't know if he can handle 5 rounds of just not killing each other. He's got potential, Josh. I think he's a very talented dude. I'd probably go for Jeremy Stephens. Kind of feel that Jeremy Stephens got this kind of experience, his output, and if Stephens can start landing that calf kick again in this fight, I think Emmett's more active on his feet, but if he can land that low calf kick, that will stump out Emmett's takedown offense as well. I think
we had main event, I think, for the Fox like we were speaking earlier on, but it's a really, really solid fight with two guys that are. Jeremy Stephens is like so hot and cold sometimes. He's always had those streaks where he'll win fights and then he'll lose a couple, but he's always in fights. He's always game as fuck, and he's just a hard guy to put away. I mean, his losses: Swanson, Oliveira, Holloway, Edgar, Moicano, solid fighters. Beat Brow, beat Bermudez, beat Dohu Choi, Gilbert Melendez. So he beats good fighters and he loses to good fighters. So he's a little bit inconsistent in that kind of aspect. The guy's been around forever and he saw everything that probably anybody has to kind of offer.
Yeah.
And I think it's two guys with two very kind of similar styles here, where I think that Josh has got underrated grappling if he wants to use it. But I think that Jeremy Stephens also is a little bit underrated in that aspect as well, because he likes to come forward and just throw heavy leather and put it on you. I think the line is decent where it's at, personally, for Jeremy Stephens. But Josh Emmett, I mean, that last knockout at Ricardo Lamas was sick. I mean, that was a thunderous shot. That's one of those life-changing knockouts that Ricardo Lamas' chin probably won't be the same again, so it's something you have to keep an eye on going forward. I like Jeremy Stephens with his experience. I think it's two very similar fighters.
Yeah.
Big hitters, big power punchers. Probably the grappling, I think I give Emmett a little bit of an advantage to, but there's all that experience on Jeremy Stephens' side of facing high caliber grapplers for so long that it might not really matter too much. So I think this actually goes 5 rounds. I think you need to be careful with Jeremy Stephens because he can put you out any time with flying knees and big strikes and leg kicks, like you said. So I'm going to go Jeremy Stephens for a decision, but I think it's a little bit too soon for Emmett personally. I think he's got a big push just because he absolutely starched Ricardo Lamas with a beautiful knockout. There's no way that guy should be number 4 in that division. It's because I don't even think he should be a top 10 guy personally, but that's just my opinion. I'm going to pick Jeremy Stephens for a decision.
Yeah, I'd like them to build. I would have liked them to build him up in the 145 division, get him that bit of experience, get him used to cutting that weight, etc. Because like throwing someone in to a 5-round fight after missing weight last time, that's nasty. That is nasty. All right, that's the fight card we've went over, broken down. We're going to go now to Will's bets. All right, bro. So looking at the card as it is. Before weigh-ins, odds, let's go with it. So we have Sarah McMahon against Reneo. So McMahon is -205, Reneo is +175.
I like we were talking earlier on, I like Marion in this fight, so there is probably a really good chance. Some people just blind bet fights and that they'll pick people, but if you go back and watch the fights, you can see instances where Sarah McMahon quits on herself. So, and Marion doesn't do that. She does not quit on herself. She keeps going, no matter if she's down or whether she's up. She looks to finish the fight. She looks to come forward. I think she's a good bet personally. I'm still waiting to see other lines, the rest of the lines to come out before I'll make a decision. But there's probably 80% chance I bet Marion Renault this weekend.
Then you have Barao at -140 and Keller at +120 at present.
Again, Brian Kelleher is an underdog, so you're going to get value there, a little bit of value. I think you'd like to get a little bit more on him. I don't know how you can bet Henan Barao in 2018. So obviously it's a dog or pass type moment here. I would go Brian Kelleher, but just be careful because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Barao might show up and he might show old instances of him being a quality fighter that he once was. But yeah, honestly, I think that if you're just looking to keep the fight interesting, you've got a little bit of money, throw it on Brian Kelleher. I think he's got an opportunity to do it.
Okay, let's go with the Max Griffin +275, Mike Perry -335. It's big odds.
Yeah, there's no value in Mike Perry anymore. No. I think in some instances you can get him like below -300 in the UK with different bookmakers if you go and have a look. A little bit of value there, but it's too much for me. I won't be betting anywhere near this fight. I think you should just stay away from the fight altogether, not unless you want to pick the knockout prop or knockout in the first or second round, something like that. Yeah. Let's
go. Latifi is +100 and OSP -120.
But again, there's value on Latifi. I think close fight.
Yeah.
So he's going to have opportunities to win this, like really win this fight. So if I was betting it, which I think the line was high, it was like +115 somewhere.
They could still change. Obviously, this is the very start of the week, ladies and gents. So we're just going off what we have now.
If he goes up, then there's value on the bet. I think it's going to be a close fight. So again, Latifi would be the bet over OSP for me.
Tisha Torres +245. Andrade -285.
Yeah, the line was actually a lot shorter than that. I think Andrade opened -140 over here, and she shot up. So people are obviously very confident that she does to Torres what she did to Gadelia. I think Torres is going to fight close. She's going to have a lot of support there in Orlando. I mean, being from ATT or was from ATT, so she's going to have a lot of support there. Dog or pass. I wouldn't bet Andrade. And I think Torres is a good fighter. I think she's one of the best in the division. So, dog or pass again?
Josh Emmett is +125. Jeremy Stephens, at the moment, -145.
Yeah, I think it's a fight to stay away from personally because both guys can put each other out very, very quickly. I would need far better odds if I was to bet Josh Emmett. I think he was +245 in that fight with Ricardo Lamas. So that's a massive odds. Pass. I think
the odds maybe change though. Obviously, asking you who knows your betting and your betting lines. If he doesn't make the weight, would there potentially be a change in the numbers? Would that then potentially sway to think, well, because at the moment, I think as well, fighters who haven't made weight in the UFC are like 7 out of 7 so far. They've won at the moment that every guy or woman's missed weight. They've won their bout. So would you look at that statistic as well and maybe think, well, if he doesn't make weight, would I maybe put some money on there?
Well, the streak. I think the streak. I've got it down in here. The streak is 10-0 since, and this goes back into 2017.
Yeah.
So the last 10 people that have missed weight have won their fights. The last one being Luke Rockhold. And 21. Romero, that's who it was. So I just don't think there's any value in the fight. I know I've got a friend that's bet pretty heavy on Josh Emmett. He's confident, but he bet him against Ricardo Lamas, so he's found a guy that he likes throwing money on. He's underdog odds again. So I don't think I'm staying away from that fight altogether. Not unless Jeremy Stephens finds himself. Like I bet Jeremy Stephens against Do Ho Choi, and he was a +160 underdog. I didn't see why that line should be so high, so I bet it and he came through. It's like the Cowboy thing last week. I said to myself, if he hits plus money comes an underdog, I'm going to bet it. He came down from, I think it was -125, and then on fight day yesterday, about 6 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock, he hit plus money. I was like, right, I'm in this, and he actually saved my night by being an underdog. So you've just got to have a look and go with kind of what you feel.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's best just to pass.
Yeah. Yes, play safe. Just wait another day till there's more confident bets.
Yeah.
That is the betting odds. That's Will's bet there, ladies and gentlemen. So now we're going to go over to questions for this week. We've got 2 questions only. Quiet people, hey? Chirp up, you fuckers. Okay, so we have Matthew Hawkins, which is his Twitter handle is at Coot COOT66Hawk. He messages us with the question of: how many fights does Derek Lewis need to win to get a title shot? That's the first question, so we'll answer that one. So, Will, how many fights do you feel like he should have to win? Because he lost, obviously, against Mark Hunt. We've got to remember to take a note of that. His last fight that he had was a loss. So he's come back and had 1 win. Ty Burr is a good win to have. But if you're in the heavyweight division, how many more do you think he has to get?
What let's say, maybe 2? Because you know what the heavyweight division is like. It's you lose fight. Even if you lose fights in that division, you don't really lose status in that division. So if he was to come in, let's say he gets Curtis Blades, or I don't know, if he gets Curtis Blades next season, so he's been a top 5 guy, then you maybe get a Verdum who he's supposed to face. You beat him, you're going to put yourself in line easily. Yeah. So 2 fights, I don't think he'll ever get there personally. I don't think he's got the motivation to. He says he wants to be champion. I don't think he really wants to be champ. I think there's 2 or 3 far better fighters, maybe even more than 3 better fighters in that division that are better than Derek Lewis. So, but if I was to put a round number in it, I would go 2.
Yeah, I'd say 2 or 3, depending on the matchups, the type of matchups that he has. 2 or 3. Like you say, heavyweight division, it is a bit shallow in that way, where you don't have to fight far to get there, because he worked his way up with a good fight streak, so he's kind of sat there in that kind of upper echelon. And next question we have here is, I thought it was a bit of a harsh question, but we'll do it anyway. Is there fight left in Cowboy Cerrone to reach a title fight, or is he just fighting for the record books? I thought it was a bit harsh, because I think he's fighting because he gets paid to fight, and he's good at it. In my opinion, bud, don't shoot me down. I think that I don't see a title shot in Cowboy Cerrone. There's too many guys. Rafael dos Anjos again. Don't see that going too well. I don't think if he goes down to 155, it'll go too well for him either. I just see Donald Cerrone as a guy who is going to put you in and he's just going to entertain. He is the entertainer, and that's okay.
I don't think he's going to get a title shot anytime soon. He's calling for Khabib as well, which there's no way that dude's going to make one. Could he make 155 again? He probably would, but he's depleting himself that much that is it really worth it? I think like we're talking about in weeks past, 165 guys are got a great opportunity to maybe win the belt there, but I don't see it. I think that the guy just loves to fight. Period. So he's going to fight. If he could fight every 3 months, I'm sure he would. But I still believe we'll see the decline of Cowboy a little bit, but he's still going to fight top caliber guys. But I don't ever see him fighting for a belt ever again.
No, it's like Thiago Alves, just that decline now. You're just watching that decline. He did get hit a few times against Jansen. You were like, ooh, and you don't want to be. That's just what's going to happen now. Every time we watch Cowboy, we're going to sit there, and every time he gets hit, we're going to question it. Look, he wants to fight for the hell of it. He's getting paid quite a lot to win and lose, so he'll fight for shits and giggles, get his money, off he goes. He'll get a UFC Hall of Fame, bang, legend status, done. That's what a Cowboy is to everyone. And that's the podcast for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, hit the subscribe button below. We're getting more and more followers on YouTube, which is fantastic to hear, as well as on SoundCloud and iTunes. Look, enjoy the fights, enjoy the bloodbath. For myself, thank you for listening. Will, have you got a goodbye for everyone?
Just remember, I think the fights start like 8:30, 9 o'clock Saturday night. And I know somehow Yeah, because it's on early. So, but I think we somehow managed to forget Cage Warriors as well. So, Cage Warriors, check out Cage Warriors. Molly McCann's fighting. She wins this fight. There's no doubt she's going to be in the UFC by the summer this year. So, a couple of good cards this weekend. So just go watch that. Follow, subscribe, come and interact with us, and get your questions in anytime you like. And we'll probably see you all next week.